Hare Krishna. Momentum manifests by movement from moment to moment. Suppose a child sees a truck moving at a very high speed. Now, child may just wonder how fast it is moving and how forceful it is. If some object comes in its way, it will just be thrown off. So, momentum is a very powerful thing. But how is momentum developed? Actually, the truck starts moving, and as it keeps moving, gradually that continuous motion leads to momentum. So, Newton's law says that things in motion stay in motion. That's a law of motion which relates with momentum. Now, in our spiritual life also, many times we face obstacles, and if we have the force of momentum with us, then the obstacles fall by the way and we move onwards. If we don't have that momentum, then when an obstacle comes, we feel, oh, this cannot be overcome, and we give up. So, how do we develop this momentum? Momentum is actually nothing mystical. It is simply movement from moment to moment. In each moment, we take one step forward, we take one step forward, we take one step forward. If we just do this regularly, that becomes a habit. And habit is something which is similar to a mental momentum. Whenever we are habituated to something, we are naturally drawn towards doing that thing. Currently, we often have a mental momentum for certain things which may not be so desirable. Certain habits, certain unworthy habits we may have acquired from the past. But although those habits are something which we have to give up, and it may seem difficult to give them up, but we should know that the very fact that we have developed some habits means that we have seen in action in our own lives this phenomena of mental momentum. And if you just start practicing bhakti regularly, start doing one thing, second thing, third thing, or for that matter any habit, if you just start doing it regularly, then that will develop a mental momentum. And just movement from moment to moment. Sometimes we may think, such a big change, how can I do it? But you don't have to think in terms of big changes. We can think in terms of small steps. Okay, I am here right now, let me take one step forward. Okay, if I am doing my japa, let me just chant one mantra now. If I am studying scripture, let me not think, oh, such a big book, let me read one page now. So, we take one step forward. And if we keep doing this, gradually we will have, just like a truck develops a huge momentum, nothing can stop, few things can stop it, can just break through things and move on. Like that, even if obstacles come, we will move forward, and that momentum will take us a long distance. The Bhagavad-gita talks about this in 4.38 when he says that nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitram iha vidyate tat swayam yoga samsiddha kalena atmani vindati. Says nahi jnanena sadrusham. There is nothing like knowledge which is as pavitram iha vidyate, that is as pure as knowledge. Tat swayam yoga samsiddha. This knowledge represents the perfection of yoga. Kalen atmani vindati, and atmani vindati, one will delight within by this. When? Kalena, in due past course of time. So, what this means is that the practice of spiritual knowledge of multiple levels, the Bhagavad-gita ultimately talks about Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam, Pavitramidam Uttamam. 9.2 it says the king of knowledge is supremely pure. The same thing which is talked about in 4.38 is talked about there in 9.2, that it says that is actually that is the knowledge of bhakti, that is the knowledge of Krishna's glories. So, we may at this stage, when we are thinking of Krishna, when we are studying about Krishna, we may not feel much pleasure. In fact, we may not feel much momentum in going towards Krishna. But if we just keep doing it, Kalen Atmani Vindati, in due course of time, we will, by the diligent practice of bhakti, develop the momentum that will help us resist temptation, tolerate tribulation, and march steadily towards Krishna. So, by not worrying about the big things we have to give up, the big changes we have to make, we just focus on the small steps that we can take, moment from moment to moment. That will result in magical momentum that will take us ultimately through the obstacles of this material world, ultimately to the abode of Krishna. Thank you.